Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today it is a beautiful day here in Southwest Florida. A little windy, you might hear the wind chimes going in the background. Nice day, orchids are blooming like crazy, and I got 4 that I want to share with you today. I got a lot more blooming. I think the next video that I'm going to do might be just a general walk around so we can see what is going on, because I got a lot more blooming here that I'm not going to highlight or emphasize. But these are some newer blooms that I have that I wanted to share with you, and I got one reintroduction that I need to share with you as well. And let's start off with the reintroduction. So this plant right here has been blooming for a while. I identified it. I relied exclusively on the tag that is in this plant, and the tag says Ploenpit Glory Sunshine, and I just relied on it. The image of the flower that I saw on RF Orchid's website didn't look like this image, but I relied on the tag here, which I shouldn't have done. And I've shared this with you in a previous video, and luckily Wendy, thanks, she identified this, and there's no doubt that this is not Ploenpit Glory, that this is in fact Siam, I gotta think for a second because I don't have a tag to rely on. This is in fact Siam City. And I should have known this because I had a Siam City that I lost a few years ago. And typically I don't like to repurchase orchids that I've lost unless I really like them, because most of the orchids that I lose, it's because of a fungal infection, conditions weren't right for whatever reason, and I don't need to repeat that. But this is apparently a repeat. This has been blooming for a long time. I know it's not my old plant, because when my old plant died, it died. I tossed it. I made a note of it, and then I buy new ones, and I keep good notes. And this one had some damage to it. It had some sunburn damage, so I remember this specific plant and what happened to it. So this is actually, it's a nice plant. It's got wonderful fragrance. Both this real plant, what it is, Siam City, and what I thought it was are from Thailand. And so what you have is you've got a lot of influx of really high quality orchids from Thailand, different breeders, different companies that the breeders worked for, but a lot of the similar ancestry, a lot of similar backgrounds. So High Dye Delight, that is in a lot of the Thai breeding programs, is in the background of this plant and what I thought this plant was. Really nice large blooms on this plant, nice bright yellow throat, has some really nice coloration, and it's also fragrant. This had, when I shared it with you previously, those were not so long ago, maybe about a month ago, those were previous blooms that have since faded and passed and are now gone. These are new blooms that are coming out on this plant, and it's now that I know what it is, and I may collect Pollinia and use it in my breeding program. But anyway, this is a nice plant, pretty big. A lot of times what happens, again, when I lost this plant previously, it probably was because of black rot. So it's not black rot season yet here in Southwest Florida, and that comes during the rainy season when it rains every day, everything gets wet, and it just and it's warm, and the fungus just kills a lot of plants. I'm a little better at growing orchids now, and so I know what to spray when I start seeing signs. I know how to handle it. And so I may repot this in something where I'm going to get better drainage. That's really one of the main problems, is when it stays really wet. for so long, you tend to have issues. But it is the black rot is a foliar pathogen, and it's from a plant above or around that it got where the rain kind of splattered the spores onto a new plant. Anyway, we'll get into that later if we deal with any black rot issues this coming summer. So anyway, this is a reintroduction. It was a first bloom. It kind of still is a first bloom, but this is Siam City, and I'm pretty happy with this. Moving on to this plant, this is a repeat bloomer right here. This is not quite in full bloom, but this is Encyclia cordigera or cordigera, and this has bloomed. I love this plant because this doesn't have, previous blooms I had this huge pseudobulb put out a huge spike, and this has two smaller pseudobulbs. It's at the edge of the pot. I might have to repot this or reposition this plant in this pot because these spikes don't have that many blooms on it. But it's a really nice dark bloom. The lip is broad and typical Encyclia bloom on this plant. Nice, even though only I'm counting 3 flowers are open on this bloom spike, it's already fragrant. And so this is a nice Encyclia species. I love fragrant orchids. It has a little bit of an earthy rose sweet scent to it. Nice flower. I've tried using this in some of my crosses unsuccessfully. I'll continue to do this, and hopefully I'll get something out of it. I've had some seed capsules that have gone what I think is close to maturity, and I've never gotten any viable seed out of that. So I'll keep on trying. I like this plant. I love the big, smooth, glossy pseudobulbs on the base of this plant, and it seems to grow really well for me. So a really nice, and I should mention that I got this at Palmer Orchids a couple of years ago, and it says Encyclia cordigera, variety rosea, and it's got a cultivar dark in single quotes. I'm not sure if that's just a name that was assigned to this specific plant before it was cloned, or what what the story is with it. But this is a really nice plant that I'm happy with. Okay, moving on to the next plant over right here. I'm really happy with this guy. This is this is going to need a new tag. Just the tag is cracked. This is Toshi Aoki Starburst, and I got this from RF Orchids. I think. Oh, tag just cracked in half. Okay. I got this from RF Orchids, I think about a year ago. I think I got this, Toshi Aoki, I think I got it the same trip that I got Siam City, so about a year ago. This plant is, this is my first bloom on this plant. It's a single bloom, and it's been growing really nicely. I'm looking at the general vigor of the plant, and it's got 3, 4, 5, 6 new pseudobulbs coming out of it. So this is just a really vigorous plant. I've had it for a year, first bloom on it, that's fine. It might have been a smaller plant. The Toshi Aoki is when you look on orchid roots to see the plant itself, but what I look for is to see the progeny that have come from this plant. There are 3 pages of progeny. So this is a favorite for use in breeding. It is a beautiful flower. It is a bright yellow flower with a really rich, dark red lip. And there's flaring on the edges of both the sepals and the petals. The fragrance, I gotta figure out how to describe this. And I can't, I'm sorry. It does have a very nice fragrance to it, and like I said, it's a really vigorous plant. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I do love, for a while I was avoiding yellow cattleyas, but now I find that I'm really attracted to them more because the flaring and the striking yellow versus red that's in a lot of the yellow cattleyas that I have, I really like, and I think a lot of people like it too. This would be really interesting to cross with another yellow flared cattleya in order to bring out, there's not that much flaring in the petals here, and maybe to deepen that a little bit, but also to look in the throat of the lip. It's pretty dark, and maybe to lighten the center part of the throat would be really nice, nice to have as well. But this is I've seen a lot of, Toshi Aoki, and I have a lot of plants that do have Toshi Aoki in the background. One of my favorites has it's 75% Toshi Aoki. It's one of the parents and one of the grandparents of another yellow flared cattleya that I have that I really like. But this is a nice plant. I wish that, that I had more blooms on this. I don't know, in subsequent flowering, and with the amount of new pseudobulbs that are coming out on this, my orchids, I don't know why they're growing like this now. I did change my fertilizer regime a little bit, but 6 new pseudobulbs coming out on this plant. That's a lot, and I got a lot of my orchids anyway. I got to get back to these guys. So it's a nice vigorous plant. It's doing really well, and I like it. I'm hoping that the next bloom is even got more. I know there's going to be more flowers just because I got so many more pseudobulbs coming out of this plant. So I'm pretty excited. Toshi Aoki Pizzazz. All right. So moving on, the last. I'm going to take this from here and move this here. The last one that I want to share with you is right here. And this is a relatively new purchase. And I got this from Sundance Orchids and Bromeliads in Fort Myers. And I think I got it around, I'm going to say 5 or 6 months ago. Let's just say six months ago. And this is Naomi's Delight, and the cultivar on this is SVO. So anything, as you might imagine, that has an SVO cultivar or name associated with it, that's Sunset Valley Orchids. And yes, this is a Fred Clark hybrid. Fred has different lines of orchids that he works for, and he had one of his things that he goes for is spots. So this is a very heavily spotted and also nicely fragrant cattleya. It does, as you might imagine, Cattleya clandii, because of the spotting, is the majority species that's in the background, but it has a good mix. The flowers are a little bit small, but there's multiple flowers per spike, and again, this is my first bloom on this plant. The stature, as you can see from this plant, the stature of this plant, it's pretty small, but it still has really nice, fragrant, colorful, striking spotted flowers on this small stature plant. And I'm looking at this, and this is also doing really well. The roots, it's in leca. All of my plants are in different things depending on where they come from. The ones from RF that I showed you here, for some reason they can do well in the original pot that they came in for about probably for about a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. This one that I repotted from Sundance, and I tend to put mostly leca on top, and the roots are growing really well on this. The plant is doing really well. After it flowers, I imagine I'm going to see more new pseudobulbs coming out of this plant, but right now it's not there. The flowers on this plant are really striking. So it's got a lot of spots. The spots are confluent on the sepals as they go down to the edge of the sepals. It's got a really nice dark purple lip, and it has kind of a clandii type shape to it. So really nice flowers, colorful, fragrant, spotted, and first bloom on this plant, and I'm pretty excited about it. All right, so that's the last plant that I wanted to share with you today. And like I said, what I'm going to do, probably my next video, is going to be a little bit of maybe a walkthrough to look at in a general sense how the flower, I got a lot of blooms around me. We're going to take a general look at the blooms, many of which you've already seen, but also more importantly, or maybe you know, as important as the flowers, is the new growth. And so the amount of the pseudobulbs and the new root growth that I'm seeing on a lot of my plants is really, it really makes me feel good. It's like springtime. It's springtime in other places, northern United States. Here it's pretty warm. It's like almost it's pretty much summertime year round, but it's we don't have the same spring until you see the new pseudobulbs coming out of these plants. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, that's all I have for you today. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.